So now we are building the relationship among dime customer table and the facts table. So first of all, if you want to build a relationship among table, you need to understand two concepts. You need to identify the facts table and the dimensional table. And then from those facts table and dimensional table, we shall going to get what we call primary key and foreign key. So for our case here, our facts table is spend is this table facts spend, and our dimensional table here is dime customer. So we shall going to build the connection based on the common column. So for our case here, the common column is customer ID. So customer ID in dimensional table is what we call primary key, and customer ID in this table, the facts table, is what we call foreign key. So basically we are connecting the primary key, which is found in dimensional table, with the foreign key, which is found in the facts table. So since the primary key and the primary key and the foreign key, they have the same column name, you can see automatically Power BI build that relationship. So when the primary key and the foreign key, they have the same column name, Power BI it automatically build the connection or the relationship based on the primary key and foreign key having the same column name. So this we don't have to build the connection, because the connection was already detected and built by the Power BI automatically. So for this, let's just go back to report view and now start building the. So after building the relationship or the data model, so this is what you call data model, where we are joining the facts table with the dimensional table. So after building this data model, we'll go back to report view and start building key metrics. So we're going to build things like the total the total spend, the average income, the average spend, income utilization percentage, and so on. So this one, so that's the next step after building the data model. The next step is now to come up with the key metrics. So we normally use DAX formulas to come up with these key metrics. So we shall going to use these DAX formulas to generate new column that will be required in the data visualization, and also we'll do aggregation for the value of data, and then after that is when I will start now building the data visualization. So let's start with coming up with a new column. So if you look at this table here, dime customer, we want to categorize the customer based on the average income. We want to categorize the customer based on the average income. We want to have lower class, middle class, and the upper class customers. So for that, we're going to come up with a new column that will give us that categorization. So for that, you'll just come to, let's go back to report view, and then you'll come to the table, the dime customer, and then you'll right click, and then you'll come to new column. New column, and then after that you will now write the customer status. So we can call that column as customer status. So I'm going to write customer status. Customer status is equal. So we're going to use if function. So if dime customer average income is less 45K, 45,000. Then we call it lower class. Lower class. And if the customer, dime customer income is greater than or equal to 65,000, then we call above 65, we'll call this as upper class. Upper class. And the average customer between 45 to 65, we'll now going to call them middle class. Middle class, and then we're going to close the bracket, and then we press enter, and then we will have our new column generated. So let's go back to table view. So you can see this is our column that has been generated. So let's go back to report view. Now we want to calculate the other metrics. So we shall going to start with the average income. So average income, we shall going to right click. Now right click, and then you'll come to measure. Measure is for aggregation. New column is for coming up with a new column, writing a formula, and then to give you the new column that you want. But for measure is when we want to do data aggregation. So for that, we want to calculate the average income. So come to new measure, and then you click. So we want to calculate average income. Average income equals to, so the average income, we're going to sum all the average income of individual customer. So we're going to write sum the dime customer of AVG income, and then we close with the brackets. So that's the average income, and then we're going to also calculate the average spend. So let's calculate the total spend first. So right click, new measure, and then so we are calculating total spend. Total spend equals to calculate sum. So we are calculating sum of facts spend. So the column spend is found in facts table. So and then we will close the bracket, and then we click enter. So we have a metric for total spending, and then so from the total spending we can calculate average spend. So right click, come to measure, and then we call it total. No, this is average spend. Average spend equals to, so this is total spend. We divide it with the number of months. So we're going to write distinct count. So we are counting the number of month, fact spent month. Yeah, so and then we close this bracket, and then so we are basically finding the average spending each and every month. So that means we will have to get the total spending, and then we divide by the number of months. So this is formula for getting the number of, for counting the number of month. So by doing that, you'll get your average spend. And then, so let's also calculate total customer. Come to new measure. And then, so we are calculating total customers. Total customer equal calculate count. We are counting the number of customers. So dime customer ID, time customer ID, and then we close, and then we have our matrix. And then we're also going to calculate average, income utilization percentage. So we're going to click on new, and then income utilization percentage equals to, so we are divide so basically this one we're going to get by dividing the average spend with the average income. So average spend, we divide it with average income, and then you put bracket, and then because we want it in percentage, you're going to activate this percentage sign here. Yeah, so let's use card and try to verify it. So income utilization percentage, yeah, so come here and activate the percentage from here. You simply click on this and then you come to activate. Yeah, so this is the income utilization percentage. So let's remove this, and then we shall going to calculate the income utilization for each gender. So right click, new measure, income utilization percentage equals to, so this one will simply have to filter only the gender. So calculate income. So we are filtering this income utilization with only gender. So let's specify the gender here. Income utilization, let's start with female. So female, and then income utilization, we are filtering it with only the dime customer gender equals to female. Yeah, and then into bracket, and then you click. Yeah, so this is for female. Let's try to confirm it. Income utilization. So this one also you will just click and then you activate it from here. Yeah, so this is income utilization for female. Yes, so this is income utilization for, so for male, let's just copy this one. Let's just copy, and then we'll simply going to change. So right click, new measure, and then for male. male. Also here we're going to put male. Yes, so this is the income utilization for male. So let's also try to confirm it. Card, and then I think it is this one, and then let's activate the percentage. Just click on the name of the metric, and then you'll come to this percentage. Yeah, so this is the income utilization for male. And then for female, let's try for female. Let's remove this and then put for female. For female is that one, the general income utilization. That is the general income utilization. And then you have the average spend. That's the average spend. And then you have the average income. So that's the average income. And then let's try to also the total customers. It should be around 4,000. Yeah, so that's the total customer. And then you have the total spend. So now we have all the metrics in place.